Now this is my Shrouded Knight Harrow, a build outside of the meta that is a lot of fun. Nearly a minute of invisibility, 2 minutes of his insane crit buffs, and a playstyle that is just enjoyable. Since Warframe 99 launched, I've been diving into off-meta builds. Volt's Cat Setup, Frost's 50k Instant Overguard build, the Necro Summoner, and now this, as suggested by a viewer. In fact, do me a favour, if you have a fun setup that you're currently running, feel free to drop it in the comments and let's show more players, I guess, a bit of fun to break away from that meta, and I would love to check it out. Now back to this setup. Infinite stealth, crazy crit potential, low energy consumption because you're invisible most of the time, and versatile weapon pairings like the Kuva Nukor, the Dual Toxicist, the Zymos, the Nell, the Kuvazar, the Recon effects. The possibilities are endless. With Cytho 9's evade ability, stealth builds are now better than ever. Combine it with mods like the Wardy Camaraderie Aura, the Spectral Serration mod, and of course the new Arcane Crepuscular, and you've got a stealth critting machine. The only thing you might need to look out for is Toxic Ancients and of course those bloody nullifier bubbles, because they're going to switch off all of your abilities. Not to mention the insane fire rate you get from one of Harrow's buffs as well. Now I've tested evade on frames like Trinity, like Banshee, Mirage, and now on Harrow, and he is the clear winner. His lasting Covenant augment synergizes perfectly with evade, both extending their durations with headshot kills, something that is incredibly easy to maintain with Harrow because of his first ability, Condemn, which can chain enemies together for those easy precision shots. Now Harrow doesn't just do stealth, he is of course a jack of all trades. He can crowd control, he can heal, he can give you overshield, he can generate energy, and dish out massive crit buffs as well. Now if you are new to Warframe and you're thinking about picking up Harrow, or you're looking at him and wondering is he a frame worth grinding, then I would say definitely do it. He is one of the best designed frames in the game, with a kit of abilities that is just pure synergy. But here's a quick breakdown of what his abilities will do, a very quick TLDR. Now, his first ability, Condemn, will chain and stun enemies together while generating shield for you and giving you overshield. His second ability, Penance, will sacrifice your shields, including those overshields, for a faster fire rate and reload speed, while also healing you and your teammates as you deal damage to enemies. His third ability, Thurible, which is channeled, you will basically swish around your Thurible, and the longer you do it, it will mean it will increase the amount of energy that you gain per enemy killed, with bonus energy gained from headshots. And his fourth and ultimate ability, Covenant, is where he will absorb damage in a shield, incoming damage from enemies, and he will convert it into a crit chance and crit multiplier buff, maxing out at 200% crit chance for headshots, I think it's 50 for body shots, and a 4-time crit multiplier. With his lasting Covenant augment, however, as you get headshots, it will increase the duration of that Covenant buff by 3 seconds per kill. And like I said, with my current build, I have over 120 seconds on that buff once I keep getting those kills. Now, if you're new-ish to the game and you're looking for a build that is a bit simple, flexible, and I guess lets you swap mods in and out, then the build on screen right now will be ideal for that. You want to focus on duration, strength, maybe a touch of range as well, and some survivability until you get, I guess, some of the higher-end mods. But if you're a player who has just hit Steel Path and you want to build without Subsume abilities, because I know there is a lot of players within the community that don't like touching the helmet at all and want to keep all of the core abilities of that Warframe, then the build on screen right now is a good starting point. High strength, high duration with a little bit of range. Penance will still heal you. Thurible will give you a decent amount of energy when you topped off, and you can swap out Augur Secrets for Lasting Covenant, the augment, if you want to. And Archon Intensify could be switched out for Umbral Intensify or a normal Intensify, depending on which mods you actually own. The same goes for the Prime mods. If you don't have those, switch them for the normal variants. But for my evade setup, which is the entire point of this video, in order to get evade onto my Harrow, I'm going to have to replace one of his abilities. And since he needs his one for locking down enemies for easy headshots, and of course for that shield, regen and overshield, he needs his 2 for heals, and more importantly for that boosted fire rate and reload speed for your weapons, and he needs his 4, which is pivotal to the setup because of the lasting Covenant augment. The only real option is to replace his third, Thurible, which means we need to get energy regen from another source, and Doriga with Arcoil and of course Archon Stretch equipped on that build can work here. But since you're invisible for most of the time, your 2 main abilities then also scale the duration of kills. It's not really an energy hungry setup. You're basically going to cast your fort ability at the start of a mission. You're going to absorb all of that damage, then you're going to go invincible when there's like a second or a half a second left on the timer of you absorbing, and then you're going to just work from there, getting as much kills as possible and scaling up your strength duration or your stealth duration and scaling up the lasting covenant time as well, while then casting his first ability in between just to lock down enemies for easy headshots, to regen your shield, and of course cast your fort to get that fire rate buff. And then you're just going to kind of rinse repeat that throughout the mission, so it is quite easy to maintain. So this is my Shrouded Knight Harrow setup. Now, worthy camaraderie for the aura slot for that 75% weak point critical chance buff that you're going to get. That's going to be easy to obtain simply because your first ability is going to be chaining enemies. I've got Prime Sure-Footed to stop myself getting knocked on my ass. I've got Narrow-Minded for more duration. I've got Archon Stretch, which is kind of one of the crux mods of the whole setup, because my Dariga Sentinel is going to be using its Archive ability, which will then be replenishing my energy for me. Augur Message is for more duration. Lasting Covenant is the augment, which is kind of needed so that I can get as much duration on this as possible, up to 2 minutes. Then I've got Prime Continuity for more duration, Primed Flow for a larger energy pool, Blind Rage for... what the fuck way did I say blind? Blind Rage for more ability strength, and of course energy conversion. You can switch this out for literally anything. I had got a V polarity here and I didn't really know what to put in here. You could use Archon Intensify since you are going to be healing yourself or healing your teammates with your penance ability, or you could go with Cunning Drift if you want a little bit more range, since you have got quite a small amount of range on this build, but it is more of a solo setup than anything else. And Condemn still has a 15, almost a 16 meter range when it's down this low, so completely up to you. Arcane Crepuscular for that bonus to ability strength while you're invisible, which is going to be for the majority of the time, and a final 3 times critical multiplier, which is definitely going to be a huge benefit since you are going to be dealing pretty much red crits because of Lasting Covenant. And then you've got Molt Efficiency, which is going to bump up your duration to 36%, which is going to, I think it gives me somewhere around 51 seconds on my evade, 52, 53, something like that, once all of my buffs, I guess, are active. And then it's simply just about running around, chaining enemies, getting your headshots, scaling this up to the 2 minute mark, scaling this up to the minute mark, and then going absolutely nuts with whatever weapon you choose to run with. Now, the Dual Toxicist and the Zymos are incredible with Harrow. I did also try the Reconifex, which was really nice because I was getting red crits with that, while also having the fire damage from its reload buff that you get. Also, the Kuva Zar, while having the secondary fire mode, the kind of barrage with the new Arcane Crux, is really nice, which you've seen in some of the footage from this video as well. And like I said, there is an absolutely huge amount of weapons that you can bring with Harrow that are going to benefit from having a huge crit potential. The Kuva Nucor is definitely one of them, especially with the new Arcane Enervate as well, equipped on it, to definitely put it up into the red crit territory where you're going to be dealing more or less, I think it's like a 12 times crit multiplier with the Kuva Nucor with the right build. And all you have to do is aim just above the head of enemies, like kind of to the crown of their head with the Kuva Nucor, and you will be constantly getting headshots with it as well, which will increase the duration on these. Now, in terms of what Archon Shards to equip, they are a flex item on all Warframes. They're not needed, but of course they are going to benefit your Warframe greatly. I do have 2 Tauforged red duration shards on my Harrow, and I've got 2 normal yellow for cast speed as well. You could put another, I guess, red one on here for more duration, or one for survivability, entirely up to you. I've only got 4, well, I've got 4 Archon Shards on my Harrow. But that's pretty much my Shrouded Knight Harrow setup. Stealthy, crit heavy, ridiculously fun to play, whether you're new to Harrow or a veteran looking to, I guess, change things up a bit and drop Nourish and, I guess, Roar and some of those subsume abilities, then check this out. It is definitely worth it. If you've got your own wild or wacky build, meta breaking if you want to, then feel free to leave it in the comment section. I would love to check them out and have a bit of fun, just to show the community that there is other builds out there. Don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed it, or don't if you didn't. Subscribe for more Warframe, and as always, thanks for watching.
I felt your hunger for me and answered greedily. Our love was a savage and terrible thing.